Alrighty, good evening, and thank you guys for joining me this fantastic Wednesday evening, Wellness Wednesday. I hope everyone is having or has had a fantastic day out there. Going to give people a few seconds to get signed in before we get going. Make sure you jot down where you're watching from so I can give you some shout outs for everyone who's watching live. Let's see, pin this up really quickly. So, this evening for Wellness Wednesday, having an interesting conversation. We're going to be talking about developing disease. I guess I'm going to give people a few seconds to get signed in. Um, excuse me. What's happening there, Siri? What's going on? Good evening. Good evening. All right. So, there we go. What's happening, Denise? What's going on, Rochelle? There you go. Good evening. What's happening, Astonishingly Blessed? What's going on, Joanne Williams? What's happening? Good evening. Good evening. Gigi Wilkins, what's up? Good evening. There you go. What's that? Sheila Collins, what's happening? Gwen Burden, all right. Hey there, Marion, what's happening? Good evening. There you go. Hello, hello. So we're talking about developing disease, all right. And I'm having this conversation because one thing that sort of kind of I should say, unnerves me a little bit is that when I hear people talking about, for instance, oh, I got diabetes, I got high blood pressure, and I think that that conveys the wrong message. And the reason why that conveys the wrong message is you didn't get diabetes, you didn't get high blood pressure, you didn't get any of those diseases, you developed them. Okay? We develop diseases over time through our habits, our lack of information, sometimes misinformation, and sometimes just outright neglect of ourselves, neglect of our bodies. All right? But disease doesn't just show up to your door. It's not like somebody ships disease to you with Amazon Prime and you just get it the next day. A lot of times we develop these things over time. All right. And I think that's an important thing for us to note and remember when we start talking about disease, because if we can understand that we develop these diseases over time, we can also understand that it is through those very same habits and very same mechanisms that we use to develop that we will use to reverse disease. All right. When we go to our doctors, one of the things I think our doctors do a disservice when they talk to their patients is, the lack of understanding of how diseases are developed. All right, because it's amazing how you go to your doctor to talk about your ailment and your doctor never asks you, you know what's your diet like? Or even if they do ask you, it's almost as if there's no real strong correlation that they make between your dietary habits and the diseases that you develop. As soon as you go to your doctor talks to you directly about pharmaceutical interventions. All right. And I would say that is about 90% of the time. I literally have heard doctors downplay the healing power or reversing power of just changing your diet. All right. They I mean, even the ones that do recommend diet recommend it as a, oh, by the way, while you're taking this medication you may also change your diet, but never really do they ever rarely do they come at it from this angle. You developed this disease through your diet and you can reverse this disease with your diet. At this point I've worked with quite a few people, right, who came to see me who had like type 2 diabetes or blood sugar issues or insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and a whole host of other things. And all of the people that I have been able to be successful with, and mind you, my success rate with working with people, especially when they're dedicated, is in the high 90s. Okay, I don't want to say 100% because I'm sure there's someone I don't know, but for the people who have been dedicated, the reversal of those issues has been pretty much, I want to say, standard. And why is that? Because we focus on the same things, the habits, all right? And I talked about habits the other day. What habits do you have in your lifestyle right now that are actively helping you develop disease? Because when you look up in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and now all of a sudden you have insulin resistance, you are now full blown diabetic, what I don't want you to ever think, which is what our prevailing science wants you to think, is that you got the disease. Because getting the disease is almost like one of those things like, I got the flu. Like you walked in somewhere and somebody just passed on diabetes to you while you were at the Walgreens or something like that. And that's not how it works. It is directly linked to your habits, your lifestyle, and things that you're doing on a regular basis. And most especially, you're ignoring your body's signs when your body is telling you, please stop. And the thing about our bodies is our bodies tell us this for a long time. Our bodies give us indications. All right. But imagine, going, I always love to use this analogy, right? Imagine us going to a mechanic because we hear a knocking sound in the engine of our car. And the mechanic says, no problem, I can help you fix that. And the mechanic comes out and he says, well, the knocking sound caused the check engine light to go off. So I went in there and I took the bulb for the check engine light out so the engine light doesn't come on anymore. And here's a brand new set of earmuffs, put this on so you don't have to hear the engine and your problem solved. Without ever telling you what actually was the root cause of the sound. They got rid of the sound for you, right? Because you don't see the light anymore and you don't hear it anymore, right? But outside of that, the root cause of the sound still exists. Much is the same with your body. If you go to your doctor and you have, for instance, acid reflux, or you have, irritable bowel syndrome, or you're having, all of a sudden late stage, you develop an allergic reaction. And the first thing your doctor thinks to do is to give you a drug for the problem without first of all ascertaining what actually is causing it, right? Well, that's exactly what they do. They troubleshoot symptoms. And sadly, your doctor is well trained at identifying symptoms and matching them with pharmaceuticals that will minimize and or eliminate the symptom, but in many cases do nothing about the root cause, which is why you have to keep going back and back and back and back. All right. And one of the things, and yeah, thank you for reminding people while you're watching, if you can hit the like button on this YouTube video, that would be awesome. If you haven't done that yet, hit the like button. But yeah, and people on Facebook, if you have not followed me on YouTube yet, please go and follow me on YouTube, because a lot of these lives are going to switch over to YouTube, period. As you notice, the lives have, cut down quite a bit on Instagram, and Facebook will be next. So it'll be YouTube, but YouTube is easy to access. So there you go. But so yeah, the doctor doesn't get down to the root cause of your problem at all. They have little concern about that. And so then we wonder why people are on medication, type 2 diabetes medication, high blood pressure medication, blood thinners, medication for IBS. They have persistent issues with Crohn's disease. All these things are things that we developed. Okay? We developed these things. Okay? We develop these things through lifestyle and dietary habits. And guess what? We can reverse them with that. But I am of the firm belief that a lot of people just do not understand that their daily habits are making them literally develop disease. And that's why I always ask the question, are you truly healthy or just not sick yet? Because 90% of our country is in the process of developing a disease. When you look at the United States, 70% of people, as we stand or more, right, are on at least one prescription drug. So that means 70% of people have fully developed at least one chronic ailment that they have to take medication for. And mind you now, we're not even accounting for the amount of people who don't have insurance, so they don't know. Okay? When we look at type 2 diabetes as itself, just by itself, right? We have some, I believe it's 89 million people in America have diabetes. Okay? There's another almost 80 something million people that are pre-diabetic, of which 90% of them do not know. So they're directly in the process of developing this disease right now, and they're not even aware. To know, even when you look at aging as itself, right? Insulin resistance and your consumption of sugar is one of the main drivers of just about every single disease that ails you. Either it's going to be the direct cause or it's going to be one of the factors that makes that disease or that issue worse. And all these things, once again, are done through our habits. And that's why when people work with me, one of the things in fact, the primary things that I do in the first 30 days is I help you establish new and better habits that serve you well. Habits that build health as opposed to building disease. Habits that reverse the damage of disease as opposed to having habits that help disease persist, or taking pharmaceuticals that do nothing about the root cause and only mask symptoms. All right. So, it's one of those things that I for Wellness Wednesday, I want you to ask yourself, okay, look at your habits. Ask yourself, is this habit a habit that's actually helping me build health? Or is this habit actually pulling away from my health? Is this habit actually helping me thrive? Or is this habit going to be something that's going to lead to some kind of decline of demise or dis-ease? All right? The foods you eat, ask yourself, what nutrients am I providing my body that my body needs when I consume these particular foods? How is this benefiting me? We have to get away from just the taste of things. All right? We have to focus on, what is it actually doing for you? Because that's the purpose of our food. The purpose of our food is for nourishment. And if this food is not doing that for you, then what exactly is it doing? Because either it's building you or it's breaking you. All right? And like I said, what frustrates me so much is that I talk to people and I work with people, and one of the reasons why I think I'm a little frustrated today is because, I recently worked with someone who was told that they had to go on medication for diabetes because their A1C levels were kind of high. And this person made the wise choice that they did not want to rely on medication, and that they actually wanted to do something to reverse. They were at least informed enough to know that it was a possibility that they could reverse it. Okay? And within working with this young lady for 5 weeks, we were able to take her A1C from 7.4 to 5.9, taking her clearly out of what would be called diabetic. No pills, no prescriptions, just a change in lifestyle. And you know what? A simple change is at that. Okay? And a lot of people don't understand that simple monitoring and simple guidance was all that she needed. Accountability to stick to something, teaching people simple principles and then reinforcing it. All right? And she was able to save herself from what would be a lifetime of pharmaceuticals, because a lot of times for many people, once they start or once they get you started, then you're hooked. And the sad part is that think about how many millions of people are taking those medications every single day that don't want to take them, but truly believe that they do not have a choice. Think about that. But what is the answer? The answer is, number one, we have to share this information. And number two, we have to stop building and developing disease and start developing health, developing wellness. We have to stop doing things that are killing us and start practicing things in our lifestyle that make us thrive. Because that's the only choice that we have. Once again, we look across and there's tons of toxic foods, right? But last I checked, we have a choice on what we decide to put in our bodies. And I just wish we make the right choice and stop developing disease. So that's all I have for you guys. Something to think about this Wellness Wednesday, and we're going to go more in detail about developing disease in a few other chats. But something to think about, okay? Something to think about. Once we stop developing disease, then we can actually reverse it very easily. Okay. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Once again, if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Once again, I'm trying to get the YouTube traffic back up. So hitting the like button lets people come in and check out the video, because once again, it shows more interest in the video. If you're on Facebook, right, and you haven't followed me on YouTube yet, please do so. Titus Unlimited on YouTube. And what's happening there, Lucretia? Hey there, Marion and AK Catwoman. What's up? Love, peace. What's happening? Like I said, guys, make sure you follow me on YouTube. I love that you watch on Facebook, but let's follow on YouTube as well, so we can get the YouTube going, because it's a much friendlier platform, in my opinion. All right, and it's free. So there you go. So that's all I have. Once again, have a fantastic day. Happy Wellness Wednesday. There you go. Happy Wellness Wednesday. And I think I might do another live tomorrow, but for the weekend, I'm actually going to be in LA for this weekend. So I probably won't be on my regular lives this weekend, but I will be around. You guys might see some pictures and videos of my being around. So I'll be in LA this weekend. But if I don't see you guys before then, I will definitely see you guys will see me in one way, shape, or form. All right, that's all I have for you guys. Happy Wellness Wednesday once again, and thank you guys so much for joining. Later. Hey Denise, I don't know how far Fresno is from LA, Denise, but if it's close, right? You know, it would be great to see you as well, Denise, because I have no idea how far Fresno is from LA. I should probably look that up, right? Anyway, later, guys.